today I'm going to be growing some pickling cucumbers. This one is called bush pickle. And what's really great about it is it's really compact growing and it's going to stay in a nice upright form, and I'm not going to need to support it. But if you love some of the varieties that are vining, listen close because it's the same instructions, except you're going to have to add a support. Cucumbers are a great first plant for the beginning gardener because really they're low maintenance, especially if you plant in a raised garden bed like I am. A lot of times you'll read in the instructions of your seeds or where you are going to plant a plant, the label says plant in a hill. Well, you can avoid all of that when you plant in a raised bed because the whole purpose of that hill is so that your water will drain away from the roots of the plant and it doesn't waterlog and cause fungus. Now, I've chosen a site that gets sun all day long, which is very important. And I filled this raised garden bed with, it's called raised garden bed soil, and it's organic, has wonderful drainage, and also has lots of nutrients. So you don't have to add a lot to your soil when you're going to grow your cucumbers if you use a soil like this. As far as spacing is concerned, pretty straightforward depending on the plant that you choose. Now, I've got some pickled cucumbers, and these are going to grow into bush form. These are not the vining kind. So it says that I can spread these about 18 inches apart. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And always put out your plants, put them where they're going to be planted first, and then commit to planting. But don't just put them out. Because sometimes you'll start getting excited about where, what you're doing, and then you'll just misspace them. And that's not good. So we're going to do this every 18 inches. So plant along with us. We're putting our cucumbers into the ground, but first we're going to sprinkle with starter fertilizer right around the roots. Shadi, you can grab some from there. You just need a few tablespoons, not even that much. And that's so that your roots have access to nitrogen and phosphorus right now, because that's what's going to help them to spread out. So make your hole about the size of your plant, but a little bit wider. Here we go. Cover it and continue. It's a good idea also to grade your soil as you plant because you never want the soil to be mounded up against the stem like this. That's bad news. You're just inviting fungus and diseases. All right, watering is next and very important to cucumbers. Remember, they're juicy. They need water. When it comes to watering your cucumbers, there's a fine art to it. Don't wet the leaves. So I recommend using one of these wands and just water, please. Get right underneath, just like that. And it does help if your hose doesn't leak, like mine. But you know what? Life isn't perfect. And you see how I'm just getting underneath? Give it a nice, thorough soak. About once or twice a week, you want to check your soil to make sure that it hasn't fully dried out. Because if it has dried out, it's time to water. And you're going to have some misshaped cucumbers. So remember, fine art, water twice a week. If it's super hot, water another time. Now, the good thing about cucumbers is that because they are so low maintenance, you don't really need to fertilize them unless, you didn't amend your soil well, but we used a really good quality soil. But if you have to, I recommend a good all-purpose vegetable food or maybe even a tomato food. It's getting nice and drenched. How did you guys like learning how to grow cucumbers? Pretty easy, right? Okay. Now you can teach your friends. For tips like this and all great things under the sun, follow me. My show's called EdenMakers. You can watch me on Facebook and YouTube and look for that Foodie Gardener playlist. And that's where you're going to learn how to grow some food. So anyways, guys, happy gardening, and I'll see you next week. What happened to my